bad.
JD, man.
Oh God, Jay
JD did
Donaldson.
nothing. Jesus.
That trade's terrible. And Donaldson, he struck out 10 times in the ALCS, 10 times, and Carpenter's right behind him. And want to hear something ridiculous about Carp? I'm sure it'll make your head spin right now. I don't know if you saw this one yet, but like they said the reason that they played him was because his velocity, his swing velocity in batting practice was the same as it was during the season when he was hot. But so they used batting practice to judge when they thought he was ready to play. They don't even give this guy. They don't even give this guy.
No freaking way.
I'm being serious too. They don't even give this guy real competition. Like you should have played him against Texas. Why is he fucking around? Why is he messing around in Somerset? As much as I love Somerset, it's not the same as facing real major league pitching.
It's not the same.
Like you can't have him going against minor league guys, which obviously I love and respect. But like if they're not major leaguers, they're in there. They're trying to get themselves up to par. Him hitting batting practice home runs off a minor leaguer is great, but what does that get you when it comes to the playoffs? It gets you 4 strikeouts in a game.
That's ridiculous. I mean, who is managing this team? What is going on? Let's talk about too how they played Boston's 0-3 comeback.
Yeah, they all goes like, what in the world are we doing there? Like that's and then they have David Ortiz FaceTiming Aaron Boone. Like, oh man, what a disaster. Who comes up with this stuff? Like they were going off on the K show about this, off like completely off the rails as they should. And I want to get this right. So Chad Bowling, the mental conditioning director, is the person who decided to do this. And why he decided to do it, I have no idea. Just absolutely ridiculous.
That's a disgrace.
That's embarrassing.
That's fucking embarrassing.
That's absolutely terrible. Like, honest to God, like, how do you do that? It's not, if it was another team that gave it up, then sure, but it's our own team that gave it up. Like, how are you going to think the skeletons of what our franchise did and try to, like, use that to motivate us?
Didn't like, Kay mention? I know. We have so many comebacks to fucking talk about, and they choose Boston. Didn't Michael Kay talking about some players weren't too fond, like too crazy about it?
Yeah, he said he talked to 4 guys. He didn't name names on that team that were pissed that took place because it's embarrassing. No one wants to be associated with that. Derek Jeter still gets sick about that, despite winning 5 championships. Alex Rodriguez still thinks about it every day, I'm sure. And it's just like, I don't get it. Like, how is that going to be the thing that's going to get them going? Like, I don't understand what the guidance is here, what the guidelines are. Like, I don't know. Like, that's embarrassing. That's like a laughable topic. Like, it seems like a joke out of like a sketch of comedy or something, honestly. It doesn't even feel like a realistic thing.
I agree.
It's like a skit. I feel like we're playing skits here.
Yeah, basically.
Like, I think they're trying this different line. They're going to see how this works in this day, and this person with that person, and like this pitcher in this wrong spot. Like, and the one thing I'll say is yesterday they finally used the bullpen right with urgency when they were down 3-0, but it took them getting down 3-0 to use it with urgency after Cortez.
Yeah.
Like they go the right relievers and they exhausted the tank. They emptied Peralta after 40 pitches. Well, why is it get 30 pitches? Like Holmes does what he has to do. And those guys were not the reason we lost at all. They gave us a shot to win and we should have won. And those 3 definitely deserve some credit because they all had very good postseasons, the 3 of them. They had nothing to be ashamed of. Peralta left his heart in his sleeve, pitched almost every game. Loizaga was basically perfect.
He tried his best. I mean, that play Loizaga made to the bag. I mean, he almost beat him out. Altuve out. That was amazing. He was doing everything he could.
And he may have actually been, depending how you look at it or you ask, like it was a bang bang play. Like it's another thing that didn't go in our favor right there. And the bullpen, those 3 were really good, but he managed everyone else terribly. Like those 3 led the way, but everything else was not used properly. And it's a shame their performances had to go to waste. Like the Clay Holmes situation we talked about, and he was back to his old self as well. So yeah, that's something that we can
situation. Josh Donaldson also actually has had 16 strikeouts.
Oh, I think is that playoffs? Yeah, I think it was playoffs.
Postseason.
Right? Yeah.
And 0 home runs, 0 RBIs, 16 strikeouts, batting average 172.
And why they run him out there every day? Like they didn't change anything else. Like
they did not change it. Yeah. Nope.
They just kept him going. Like they were just praying they were praying he was going to run into a home run somehow. That was their thought process. But he was a guess hitter and he kept guessing wrong, as I've been saying. He was guessing. He had no clue what he was doing. He was just embarrassingly bad. Every at bat was terrible.
One of the worst trades.
All right, now it's time for the trade. We've been circling it all day, so it's just like I remember when this trade was made in Tampa. I was like, what are we doing with this? I was like, at first it was like, I'll never forget how this went. It was like Gary Sanchez trade to the Twins. I was like, okay, like fine, I guess. I kind of wanted to move Gary Sanchez, like, all right. And then it was like Urshela to the Twins, and then it was like Donaldson and IKF. And I'm like, what the heck did we just do? I'm like, this isn't it. And I was like, Donaldson's 36. He's making all this money. I was like, did the Twins eat money? And they're like, no, the Yankees are paying all of it. I'm like, what? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, his bat took a bad decline. His defense, I'll say, was really good. I'll give him that, but like his bat was terrible. And it wasn't like he was even good at all during the year either. And IKF, as much as I'm pissed with him and his defense, he was actually hitting okay in the postseason. He was hitting all right in the playoffs. Like, it was his defense, which is so costly, you could have him at shortstop. But like you were saying and I was saying, we should have put him at third and bench JD. I don't know why they were so hesitant to do that. That could have actually made a difference.
Right, like which is the worst of the two evils? I think Donaldson. So IKF was the better candidate.
Yeah, I mean, he was hitting some singles here and there. He had a double yesterday. Like he's a Gold Glove third baseman, but again, it goes back to experimenting with guys at shortstop that aren't shortstops. Like Torres, we know wasn't good there before they tried to put him back. IKF was a third baseman, and they were like, "Oh, he get too short." Like, why are we experimenting with shortstops? Like, find a real shortstop. Like, that's not a position to play around with, and they're playing around it, and they're getting bad results.
I mean, Cabrera, I get it. He's a utility player. He can play every position, and he
okay,
does it well.
It's not like he's bad at short.
But
like, I don't
not
have
if you have Peraza on the bench.
He's a great defensive shortstop. He's the best defensive shortstop in the whole organization, even with Anthony, which we'll get to later, I think. Peraza's a tremendous shortstop. Phenomenal. He makes every play, and we saw the good play he made with Glaber and stuff and a few other nice stops he had. His defense is amazing. And they even said before the season that he was major league ready defensively. So why did they wait so long to do it? Like, I don't know. Like,
Kid is a magnet. Kid is a magnet out there.
Yeah, he's gonna be special, and I think there's a good shot he might end up starting a short next year, and that will be good. But they messed up with that. It was a bad situation. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm not sure why they were. I think it's like the trade. I think they wanted to be. It's just like with Cashman, he wants to be right all the time. He wants to be the smartest guy in the room. He wants to be like, I told you this trade was gonna work. That's why he's shoving Donaldson and IKF down our throats despite better judgment.
Despite Cashman.
Yeah, and all the analytic guys want to be like, "Oh, you can't tell those guys they made a mistake. Everything they did was correct." Like they don't take criticism in that room.
Which is why I think JD was in the lineup every fucking day, because it's Cashman's pretty much, he's the one running shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Boone's traded for him. He wants him to play.
Yeah. Aaron Boone was hamstrung, and then the answer he gave, he's going to play every day. When he's doing nothing, he's like, he's still our third baseman. Like, what is that? Like, you got to win a playoff series. We don't need to appease Cashman for trading for Donaldson just because he's making all this money. Like, he was lost at the plate. Anyone with eyes could tell he wasn't going to run into one. And the one time he gets a good hit, when we see it, he gets himself thrown to second base because he's swagging a home run. That's not even a home run. It's a porch job. And he did that too much too. Like, he's like, yeah, it's like it's so bad with him. I mean, dude. And then the trade with Gio Urshela sends the tweet out this morning, sipping my coffee, like probably laughing at this, seeing how bad Donaldson was.
His coffee.
he was like, I'm just minding my business. Although for Sanchez, it's a different story because like he had to go, but like Gio didn't have to go for Donaldson. And like I said, you could have just released Sanchez. You didn't have to add Donaldson to get rid of Sanchez. Honestly, like, I just don't understand. Like, just cutting him loose would have been better than taking on Donaldson's contract. And then they were in love with IKF because they wanted a stopgap, but when the gap was ready to be stopped, they didn't want to stop it. Like, I just don't get it.
Jeez. So speaking of, who would you cut loose? this offseason.
Okay, so we're gonna go with our keep and stay here, and we're gonna get to Rizzo and Judge and some guys that are on the fence with free agency. So we're gonna go around the diamond here for catching. What I would do is that you're gonna have to keep Trevino. Obviously, his defense is really good, but you need to get a stronger catcher in to help him. Higgy's got to go. I think the Higgy experiment needs to end. Honestly, he was a great Yankee. He was in the organization for a while, but you need someone that's gonna push Trevino more. Maybe even almost platoon it, like have Trevino come in for big defensive situations. Maybe like Jose was a great story, but his bat disappeared when we needed it. Like it was non-existent, and the back of his baseball card shows he's not really a good hitter.
On that note, on the catching note, yes, they didn't hit the fucking ball at all. But I would say I don't think I saw a passed ball all fucking series, which we would have with Gary. There's no way.
Yeah, no, I'm happy.
Gary would have killed us.
I agree. Sanchez had to go, but the way they went about it and executed it was terrible. Like
what I'm trying to say is that Higgy and Trevino did a great job defensively.
They did, and I give them credit for that. But the problem was we had too many empty at-bats from them. Like, I still would have rather them than Gary Sanchez. I'm not saying Sanchez should have been back. I don't want anyone to think I felt that way because I didn't want Sanchez anymore.
I didn't take it that way either.
Oh, no, I was just clarifying anyone listening, too. I know. I figured you knew what I was putting with that. But, like, so, I mean, just get a little maybe a catcher that can help a little bit, but Trevino running back with him, obviously. I want Rizzo to come back. I want Rizzo back, obviously. He's going to opt out probably, but you could work something out with him. I think he did a good job with everything. I think he was one of the better performers.
No complaints. No.
One of the better performers of the season. Unfortunately, he got hurt a little bit. And that definitely impacted him negatively when he was out. So that's that. So we go around the diamond. DJ LeMahieu, you're not moving him, and it's not like I wouldn't move him anyway. I mean, you wouldn't get anything for him, and I still believe in him. But the problem is he's been banged up the last couple of years, and I'm not sure if he's ever going to be the same player anymore, unfortunately.
Jeez, that sucks.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, and I don't think he should lead off anymore, by the way. I think he should be like a 5 or 6 hitter if you do the lineup again next year. I wouldn't lead him off anymore.
Okay, so where do you play DJ?
I want him at third base next year, basically third or second, I guess first to spell Rizzo, kind of like he does sometimes. So I'm going around the diamond more. I'll put the full picture, and then Gleyber Torres. I'm on the fence with Torres here because I can see a world that he gets moved. Maybe they wait for the deadline. I think if you move him, it opens up some things with Peraza. Volpe's going to be up next year at some point too. And I think it might be a decent move to make because I don't think you can move DJ really. So that's why I think you could get something of value.
You can get more out of Gleyber. His market is probably high now.
I mean,
I looked at his numbers. He did amazing September and October, first half of October.
Yeah.
He did amazing. His numbers were the best.
For shortstop, I want Peraza. I want Peraza starting at short on opening day next year, 100%. Third base, praying that they ever Donaldson somehow. I know it's going to be tough because that contract's terrible, but it's only 1 year left. Maybe they'll just eat it for a year. At least it's not a long-term commitment. It's just if he's starting at third base next year, my hopes.
I doubt they're going to eat it because they wouldn't even eat Hicks' contract. How much more are we talking?
Well, Hicks is 3 for 30, so they might end up doing something with that soon because now it's getting towards like a part where you can maybe like maneuver it a little bit. And I guess that's the next person we'll go to probably anyway. But for JD, I mean, I'm gonna lose hope if he's starting at third base next year. Like I want DJ at third probably on opening day if I could pick, most likely, if Torres is still in the picture. And Oswaldo could be in that utility factor too. I think Oswaldo should break camp with the team this year. I mean, he played 50 games in the majors, so I don't see the point of sending him back down now. And I think IKF, they might end up moving on from, or he could be on the bench if he's going to stay around. You can't start him next year. I think maybe he ends
Yeah.
up going too.
That's tough. Yeah.
He also doesn't seem like a New York guy. As much as he was a Yankees fan and like all that, it just doesn't seem like a good fit for him. Like he doesn't seem too great with the media sometimes. Like he seems like nonchalant about his mistakes sometimes, a little bit too much, like saying he needs to get better and it just stays the same. Like kind of sick of hearing that too a little bit. Like it's just not. I don't see any progress there.
Yeah, and the Yankees are not, they don't want him at third base for whatever reason. They're just
No,
not
they
even
don't.
trying. They didn't even try.
No, they if they were going to salvage him, that was the only way to do it, and they're not going. They're not going to do that. They need a
No.
legitimate third baseman, though. Like, I mean, DJ's like not even your typical third baseman, but it's better than JD, obviously. So I would like to see that. Or as much as we like Gio, he wasn't elite. He was above average, but he wasn't like I know he wasn't a premier third baseman. Like Machado would have been a premier third baseman. Like that would have made you. That would have solidified that infield over there. And he could have made so many other guys better too. Like would have been a much better situation.
Yep.